Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Dan. This is Tweet FEV. Thank you all for showing up this early Sunday morning. It's early for me. Probably not for you. Or maybe it's earlier for you. Either way. Sponsored by coffee, because this is the only thing that makes things work now. Brandon Baked Beans, thank you so much for stopping by this morning. Rick Cepeda, as always. Sorry I missed the Discord stream yesterday. If you guys don't know, Rick Cepeda has a pretty cool Discord, and he does a live in-person-ish, Zoom-ish type live stream over on Discord. Pretty cool over there. Rob Logan Jr., welcome. Good morning. How are you doing? Brian, hi from Montreal. Nice. From the land up north. Used to live in Michigan, frequented Kanakistan quite often. JFEV, how are you doing this morning? Let's see. Rodolphe? Maybe? From Montreal, Canada as well. Maybe you two know each other. Nate, how you doing, man? I miss working with you guys, I'll be honest with you. Rick's Saturday morning cartoons and FEV. There you go. Awesome. ESC FEV. You're not that late. 4 minutes. We're just kind of filling time while we get everything going. Brian, I'm in Montana. I am in Alabama. Dirty South. Close to the water. Oh, man. Yeah, I feel like I'm working your shift more than anything else anyways. At least that's what time I'm at work. Yeah, Tony, how you doing this morning? Hoping you get your ELRS stuff under control. Patio Patterson, the shark bite sale is over. I guess I'm not going to get one just yet, waiting for better cameras. Yeah, the sale is over. That was kind of a quick get it out, get some cash in the coffers, and keep developing. I'm sure, I am positive there will be other flash sales like that. You just got to be ready to jump on them when they happen. I'm thinking probably around the holiday time. If I were a betting man, you'll probably see more. Never got to tell you the chance, but I love my Tweet FB transmitter grips on my Trainus. Thanks, man, for coming up with that great product. Hey, man, the idea came from back in the day. I used to do a lot of shooting, pew pew, that type. And there was a company called Talon Grips, and they made 3M adhesive, stick-on, sandpapery type panels for pistols. Instead of going through and stippling them with a soldering iron, you just stick these things on there. They felt great, but they didn't last long, at least not in the configurations I had them. And that got me thinking after I bought, was it a X9 Lite or X9D? Came with some like Happy Model panels, and it was just like, it wasn't anything. It was just like stick-on junk. And I got to thinking like, hey, you know what? This might work well on our product, because I hate wearing a neck strap. Like, the radio's light enough that I feel kind of silly wearing a neck strap, but I wanted to be able to grab the radio and be in the same spot every time. That tactility to it kind of gives you that instant lock-in position, and it's just been it's been great ever since. Race Day Quads is a huge supporter of little manufacturers like myself, and like Flying Sandals and Just a Switch. You come up with a good idea, you talk to Race Day Quads, and you know what, they'll probably carry it. And Race Day Quads has been absolutely fantastic since day one with this thing. I've had a few other retailers want to carry the grips. Pyrodrone did. I know they got an initial run from me. And there was another retailer in Mumbai that wanted grips, but that was pre-Rona, and I haven't heard from those guys since, so oh well. But if you want to get yourself a set of TweetFV grips for your radio, go to tweetfv.com. I have all my products there, or go to Race Day Quads. Just make sure you go to tweetfv.com and click my affiliate link. If you're outside of the US, my website's probably going to be the best way to do it, because I only charge, I think I'm charging $3 for shipping now. International rates went up a little bit, but I was doing 2, now it's 3. They take a long time to get to you though for that price. Just saying. Oh, let's see. How's everybody doing this morning? Hopefully you got plenty of time to go fly and rip some packs throughout the week. I basically had time to knock out my IGOW stuff. If you don't know what IGOW is, it's International Game of Whoop. It's basically a game of horse played with these little guys. These things are so... If you're flying FPV and you don't have a 65 millimeter like high-end Whoop like what they're selling now, $100, you're doing it wrong. This allows you to fly, practice, and kind of keep in the hobby year-round, 24 hours a day. Daylight, sunlight, doesn't matter, nighttime. You can fly indoors, and it kind of keeps you in and active. It's not a one-to-one translation to larger quads, but flying's flying. You know what I mean? Coffee today sponsored by Ruby Moon Coffee. If you want to get if you're in the U.S. and you want to get yourself some really awesome custom roast coffee, Ruby Moon Coffee over on Instagram. Ruby Moon Coffee is it's one of my favorites. When I lived in northern Michigan, there was a local roaster that had a Ethiopian blend that I really liked that I can't find anymore, and he has one called Supernova, and it's very close and is very good. My coffee grinder struggles to get through those beans. They're a little different. He roasts them to order. Let's see. Brand to make beans. Love my grips. Don't use the grips on the back side of the radio as it wears my fingertips out a lot. You're moving your fingers a little too much. Also can't wear a strap. I mean, I feel silly because the radios aren't that heavy. Well, I mean, my original X9D with a 3S lithium iron battery in the back of it, that and a module, that sucker got pretty heavy. But nowadays I'm flying the Mambo, and it's a pretty light radio. Tango 2 is even lighter. But I think a lot of people wear a strap just so they don't drop the radio. But if you're careful and got yourself some grips, I don't see you dropping it. Yeah, CFV Newbie Drone release 10 DJI units every Saturday at noon, 1 per customer. Newbie Drone has a huge stockpile of DJI Air units, and they are rationing them out to us. I know it sounds silly and it's ridiculous, but he's rationing them out, or they're rationing them out, because I think if they put them all on there, they would sell out like now, and then you have disgruntled customers that can't get anything. So at least there's a chance, you know what I mean? And 1 per customer, that's awesome, until somebody creates a bot to scalp them, like graphics processors and all that other stuff. The glittery ones, I love the glitter grips. I have a set of green grips on my radio right now, and there's only one out there, and it's not mine. CFV can't wear a lanyard either comfortably. Hey man, try getting yourself a set of grips. You might like it. I don't know anybody who doesn't like them. I toyed with cutting them out of vinyl. I sent them to one person. I cut vinyl grips for my Tango 2. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, but I'm gonna stick to the grip tape. And that was kind of the guy I sent to test them. He's like, they look good because there was like a carbon fiber weave look. He liked them, but didn't love them. And that was my same feeling. So grip tape, it shall stay. Last week was fun, chill. I got most of my stuff done here at home. I had to go to my local park, a state away, to get a lot of it, the rest of it done, and then a buddy at work helped me out with the last one. I did all 10 tricks instead of the 8 out of the 10 that you needed, just because I was able to get it all in there. Did a little After Effects work, shot lasers at the horse, made it explode, pretty amateur stuff, but it was kind of fun. Oh man, Rick, I still need to get out and actually fly a plane. So I'm looking at this this Hobby Zone Super Cub S in a box. I need to just put it together and bring it to the field. We should be doing a multi-GP event next Saturday. Hopefully the weather holds out, and I'll definitely be taking it with me. If for anything, just somebody to give me the rundown on how to not destroy it on the first flight. I'm not saying that won't happen, but it might. I hate inverted yaw spins. Yeah, inverted yaw spins are not very easy on this little guy. At least not making him look good and flat and consistent. Yeah. I was never good at Street Fighter. Yeah. The Rubik's Cube, actually, the first time I did a Rubik's Cube was IGAO last year. It was the first time I ever tried it. And I was doing on a heavy 75mm 1S whoop with a HD board in it, and I just kept driving that sucker into the ground. Yeah, because kids. All right, ESC FPV, awesome. They make structural textured vinyl. Yeah, that's kind of what this stuff was. Didn't really like it. That's what I ordered. Super Cub S2. Yeah, this one, a coworker of mine has a kid on the way and was just clearing out his little man cave, and he had this airplane that he's had forever. He's never flown it. Somebody gave it to him. It's a ready to fly controller and all. I just need to get a battery for it and put it all together. But he's never flown it. From the looks of it, I don't think it's ever been flown. So we'll see. I kind of like the. I don't really care that it has its own controller, but the fact that it's all one package, I don't know. Let's just go for it. Brian, I thoughts on 3. What? Oh, apparently he didn't want me to read that. So anyways, today we are going to pick the lucky winner of the 1 hour Aaron Ciotti let's see, custom, or no, training session. That's what it is. Jeez, words. It's early. I usually don't go to bed till about 4 in the morning just to coincide with my work schedule. So just so you guys know, I set an alarm to wake up to be able to talk to you folks. So click that like button. Thoughts on the beta FPV ELRS radio? I don't know. I have a mystery package from Beta FPV coming. They like to send me things without any warning or notification. Should be here Monday. I'm assuming it's probably that radio. The ELRS part of it's going to be cool. I hope they improve the quality of the gimbals, because the gimbals have always been it has always been the weak point of that radio. The gimbals have always been trash. You may get a set of gimbals that last forever, and then you may get some that just don't work out of the box. That's usually that's the weak point to that radio. The other issue that I see with without having any sort of interface besides connecting it to a PC, you might run into issues with your quads. Like if you're flying something like this little guy that has the built-in SPI ELRS module. I know, lots of words, elemental P. Basically, there's an integrated 2.4 gigahertz Express LRS receiver in this. The way this one comes is it will not connect unless you set your radio to 500 hertz. It's not actually working at 500 hertz, but you have to set it at 500 hertz unless you go through and reconfigure this through the CLI to run on 250. The problem's going to be is you're going to have a bunch of quads that you want to fly at 250, so you set your radio at 250, and then you go to fly this, and it's not going to connect unless you go into that configurator and change either this to run at 250, or, well, to actually accept signal at 250 and not 500, or connect your radio to the computer and set that to run at 500, which then will make all your other quads run at 500, and you're just going to get a bunch of junk noise because OpenTX doesn't run at 500, it only runs at 250. That was a lot. So it'll be a mixed bag. I think Express LRS should be replacing all all of the integrated SPI, FrSky, and FlySky receivers. They're all garbage. They've been garbage since day one, but they're doing what they can do with what they got. Since it's not an actual licensed FrSky receiver, they can't do any firmware updates to it. There's a bunch of open source stuff that works around that, which is cool, but it's still a patch. If you get one with ExpressLRS in it, it's the real deal. Other issue with SPI ExpressLRS is the firmware for the receiver is carried through the Betaflight version. So you can't just go and update this on the configurator. If there's a huge update with ExpressLRS, you update your module, it may not carry over to your quad, or it may be incompatible. So there is that risk. Beta FPV does have a integrated ExpressLRS AIO board. They run theirs over a UART, so it works exactly like just having a standalone receiver, whereas this one is connected to SPI. This has lower latency, but you know, it's a mixed bag. It depends on what you're looking for. I personally prefer the integrated boards. Heavy Model seems to be doing pretty good so far. We'll see though. Rick Cepeda just made a small adapter from the battery plug that's on it, whichever one you use. Mine flash. Yeah, I think it's not a Dean's and it's not an XT60. It's some, was it like EC something connector? But yeah. Ram Donko, how you doing today? You can flash the Hydra pull request and it will auto switch the packet rate, but you need to use the 10.8 configurator and you should be good or ready to go at 4.32. Okay. Yeah, that's all. Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing with these boards with the ELRS integrated on the SPI. It's all nightly firmware or pre-release firmware. Yeah, I guess it's nightly. So take that for what it's worth. But ELRS is the future. I don't see Ghost and Tracer catching up anytime soon. They certainly have the ability to, but I don't know. They move a lot slower just because it's not open source on their end. So they're going to go through, and if they're going to make a change, they're going to do a lot of vetting and a lot of testing. But if you ever notice, like TBS firmware, everything is beta. Every piece of firmware is beta. Like, I don't know if they ever actually have a release firmware. Yeah, it's a whoop. Nightly is fine. Yeah, I had a Tiny Trainer on a nightly Betaflight, a nightly OpenTX, and basically a nightly ExpressLRS before they had like version 1 out. Had a flyaway and couldn't disarm it. So, I mean, there is a risk. There is a risk of something going weird and you being the person that finds the bug. But when you find those bugs, let people know. Let people on the in the dev forums, let them know. You might be the person that found it. You don't know. Just the upgrade for the Beta FPV transmitter 1 now has ELRS, and you can upgrade the board for really? That is interesting. Let's see. For some reason, Beta FPV's site is not working right now. Oh, there now it's working. Oh, look at that. Let's see. Hopefully my internet's not crashing. Okay. We have the Light Radio 2 SE transmitter main module, $20. That is really cool. Maybe that's what they're sending me. I don't know. Okay, yeah, so you just pop out the Bayang. Well, I don't know if this will update the Bayang radio or if it's only for the FrSky radio. I would assume it's probably both because I don't think it really cares. all light radio 2s and light radio 2s. So if you have a Bayang radio, this should be a good update for you, because Bayang only works for like the advanced, like the 65 millimeter whoop kit that came with this radio. Ran off Bayang, and it didn't run off of FR Sky, so a lot of people were kind of stuck with this radio that only flew one quad. But now that they have this, you could pop that in there and run Express LRS. That's cool. I'm sure Beta FPV will up somehow. Yeah. As far as I know, they use OpenTX. Yeah. Hey, it's still out there if anybody wants to come find it. RAM, no, it can't at the moment, anyways. I've also heard rumors that they're working on over-the-air updates for Express LRS, which would be freaking sweet, because that's another thing that Express LRS or TBS and Ghost have over Express LRS is actual over-the-air updates. You update your module, and the module pairs with the receiver and says, "Hey, these two firmwares don't match. You want me to update it?" Yeah, okay, cool, and it does it over the back and forth tucky, rather than having to update each piece individually like you do now. So that's one of the things that Express LRS is missing, and it's also missing the VTX control, which I've also heard they're working on as well. But we'll see what happens when they get there. Maytech coming in huge today, this week anyways. They have released a PWM translator board. I don't know what you would call it. PWM converter. So this works off anything that's running CRSF, not S-Bus out of a Crossfire receiver, but anything running CRSF, which is Crossfire, Tracer, and Express LRS. This breaks that out into, I believe, 6 PWM frequencies, or PWM channels, so you can control like a wing with Express LRS without having a flight controller installed. This is kind of a game changer because Express LRS never really had a way to do that, except for maybe just using an S-Bus decoder, which I've used in the past, and they kind of suck. But like Crossfire had, I think, 4 PWM channels on it anyways, but Express LRS didn't. This integrates into the regular pinout for an Express LRS or a CRSF Express LRS receiver, and gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 PWM headers, along with power as well, which is something that you didn't get when you tried doing PWM out of a Crossfire receiver. Is you didn't get power. All you got was the signal, so you still had to get your power and ground from somewhere else. And also Maytech has come out with a receiver, hoodingly thingy, receiver, diversity receiver, which is even cooler on top of that. So honestly, with all these different manufacturers getting into the Express LRS game, I don't see Tracer and Ghost really doing much unless they really step up their game and start moving like fast, because this stuff is moving fast. And other like, if just Happy Model was making receivers, that'd be one thing, but you've got like 4 or 5 different manufacturers making receivers and transmitters, and now you've got Maytech in the game. Maytech is a huge company. Like, if they're getting in the game, they are serious about this. And this is the stuff that's going to push it way over the edge. Just needs a little bit of development on the user interface, and some of the feature sets. And man, we got a perfect setup. Oh, let's see. Keith Drowns, ESC, FPV, it's me. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's it's so hard to keep track of who's who between Discord, Patreon, Facebook, YouTube. Everybody's got a different name in every place, so it's hard to tell who's who. Yeah, just update the TX and it'll push to all the RXs would be nice. That would be killer. The only thing I see is getting that binding phrase the same, because if you've got a custom binding phrase, which I think pretty much everybody does, you still have to update your receiver with that binding phrase unless you do the old school binding procedure to pair the two. So I don't know, it's going to be a mixed bag, but it's nice that you have options at least. Can I get a gimbal for the light radio beta FPV after 7 repairs is given up? Got the banging around when I got. I try to translate this one. I think you need a new gimbal. Yes, they do have gimbals available. Contact Beta FPV, and they'll get you a gimbal. Actually, I might actually have one in a box somewhere. Yep, I've got a couple wings without receivers that are actually I'm running R9 on them. Well, an R9's installed. I've left R9. R9 worked great for me. I liked it. It worked well. I wasn't supporting the TBS bullshit. And at this point, I don't recommend anybody really go with R9. You can use their hardware for doing Express LRS, which is cool, but if you can get stuff cheap enough, it's great. You know, like if you have a bunch of R9 receivers, they're worth $10 a piece at TBS. You know, for their trade-in program. Just saying. I forget my binding phrase like crazy. Yeah, I keep it simple. ELRS. I'm not worried about somebody else binding with my quads, so I don't really care. I'm not worried about it. Just keep it simple. I think that new Maytech just direct control the servos. It can be flashed with iNav. So, Rick, the whole idea with that board is so you don't have a flight controller. Nate, thanks a lot, man. Big super chat there. Really appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, so that board is the whole point of that is to not have a flight controller, so you can break it out. If you have a flight controller, you can use your motor outputs or whatever for your PWM outputs. I don't know if this would actually interface with a flight controller. Yeah, I don't think it works like that. And I don't know if you'd want to use this if you weren't. Let's take another quick look at it. Yeah. Yeah, so this pad right here, I think says BF. So it may interface with a flight controller. I don't know how it would. It's also got RSSI. This looks like current ground, something. So it does work off I2C. So you got your DA and CL pads. So yeah, it may actually interface with the flight controller. I don't know. I don't know if this is actually available yet. Oh, there you go. Yep. Yes, it can. So that might be an option for you if you're trying to find a way to break out some servos on a flight controller. But I don't think that's the primary focus of this thing. But it does look like it uses the I2C protocol, so it'll do, it'll be a breakout for your GPS and your servos. So it's an option. It'll be interesting to see how this thing works out. Back to the chat here. I don't own Ricardo. Welcome to the live stream, man. I don't own a 3-inch Cine Whip. Could I just put prop guards on my 5-inch and in Betaflight set motor limit to 50%? Absolutely, you could. There's lots of different prop guards out there. Stan FPV makes some of the best prop guard ducks that I've ever seen. He's put a ton of time and research into them. It's not just somebody printing a cylinder that fits over the props. His are actually designed with a purpose behind them. But yeah, you absolutely can do that. Here you go, Ricardo. Go ahead and check these out. Well, that's one way to do it. Yeah, you'll need to contact their customer service, Ramdonko. They'll set you up. Yeah, just contact customer service. Most of the time I use the UID on 2.4 gigahertz to verify I got it right. Just do MD5 with the phrase. Seems like way more work than what it's worth, to be honest. Sorry, Ram. I don't understand what you're saying there. Nate D's with the big old super chat. Thank you so much. Just making it through the chat here. All right, so today we are going to give away the 1 hour, training session with Aaron Ciotti and the newbie drone brushed whip kit. So the requirements were for this was to fill out the entry form on Patreon and also send in a video submission. Nothing crazy, no real requirements. It could just be you talking to the camera over on Discord. And let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 submissions, so we have a 1 in 8 chance of doing this. It's not going to be a random giveaway. I'm just going to pick one based off of the video submissions that I've seen. You do ramble, Ram. You absolutely do. But that's all right. We're trying to interpret. Oh wow, Stand FPV's actually doing injected molded ducts. This is awesome. Look at that. All his ducts, I think, before were 3D printed. I've got a set of his ducts on one of my quads. Yeah, I've got one here on a Cinesplorer. They're 3D printed. They're 3D printed very, very, very well. And they're like tapered to the center. So there is some design behind this. The other option for this was just like the iFlight. They were just like a straight tube duct, more of a prop protector than anything. This Cinesplorer is awesome, by the way. It's probably one of the best Cine platform 3-inch quads that I've ever flown. It's a lot quieter than the rest too. But this is the first frame that I actually went with like a pancake style motor. I think these are 2203s. 2203. So really good frame. Really good platform. This is all basically set up spec'd by Bob Ruge, Kebab FPV. Oh, look at that OG Caddx Vista right there. Shit. All them 120 frames per second. Hard time finding good parts for the DJI system right now. Rick says he's interested in the Flywoo Cinerace 20. I've seen a few little snippets of this guy. Let's take a quick look. Can I find it at Flywoo? There we go. Get a hot take. Pre-order on the 8th. Oh, Flywoo's website is garbage. So is iFlight's. They're both garbage websites. I don't know why. And just so you guys know, their websites are different between mobile and desktop. Like if you're looking for wiring diagrams and stuff, especially iFlight, they don't show up on mobile. They show up on desktop. So if you're looking for a wire diagram and you can't find it, that might be why. Let's see. Personalization frame kit, marketing wink. Foam ducts, okay, that's added weight. You can do 9 or 12, that's really good. 20 by, okay, you got 3 options for a flight controller, 20 by 20, 16 by 16, and an AIO size. That is very nice. Comes with an antenna holder, 14 by 14 cameras. Huh, interesting. 4S. In general, these are garbage battery straps, but for a Cinewhoop, trying to save some weight, these things are just fine. You know, in a crash, you're not supposed to crash these, but if you did crash it, you're going to lose your battery. But, I mean, it's all about saving weight when you get something that's this small with that much electronics in it, especially if you're flying it with DJI. So the ducts at least look like they're injection molded, but doesn't look like there's any frame where the ducts are. So it looks like the ducts kind of connect. Yeah, so I don't know. This might be a really vibraty setup, very noisy setup, because you only got 2 chunks of carbon, the top and the base plate. The rest is all held together by hopes and dreams and screws. So A, it looks heavy, and B, it looks like it's going to make a lot of vibrations, which in a Cinewhoop, you're like, that's the last place you want it. Especially if you're running, you know, you're running something that's not going to be sporting real steady or any other type of, you know, smoothing. Like if you're just going to do like straight DJI video. But I don't know. It's a 2-inch too. Jeez. Boy, they are. I don't know, Rick. 2-inch. It depends. I mean, if you're trying to haul around a Insta360 Go, like this little guy here, 2-inch might not be enough ass to haul this thing around. 3-inch, I think, is kind of the sweet spot. Maybe 2.5. It's like the disc loading on a 2.5 versus 2 is a lot more. I mean, even more than 3, but 2-inch is kind of it's like right there in the middle. Like it'll probably work, but I don't know how much authority you're gonna have over the quad with those small motors. Not small motors, but small duct. Words, small props. It'll fly, but you're not gonna have a lot of control or authority. You're gonna be kind of at the end of what you're able to control based off of the amount of thrust this thing can generate. You'd have to keep it ultra light. DJI, I think, is going to be way too much for it unless you made it a naked DJI Vista. The camera's going to be hot garbage because I don't know, on that 14 by 14, it's just not good. You have to keep this analog, I would say, to make it light enough. And you're also going to rock a 4S 300 milliamp. Oh, man. I don't know. Frame's cheap, though. Seems. Yeah, and they charge for all the TPU parts, don't they? Oh yeah, here's a good teardown of it. You guys aren't looking at this. There we go. Yeah, a lot of other frames use ducts like this, but the ducts also have a chunk of carbon going through them to stabilize them and to give it some strength and rigidity. I don't know. So you got to stand off, and these things are just cantilevering off of the standoff. my initial opinion is it's probably not going to be a good setup. I'll be honest. I know Beta FPV's doing things like this that are all injection molded, but it's all one piece injection molded. It's not. It doesn't have all these places for gaps and space to, happen. Because I mean, if you want to stick a duct over a standoff, there's got to be some tolerance there. Otherwise, you're going to break the standoff. That's why 3D prints work so well over standoffs, because you can make them tight, and the 3D print will expand over the standoff and squeeze it. To do this, especially if they're polycarbonate, there's got to be a gap there. Otherwise, you're just going to crack it trying to install it. It'll be interesting to see how this works out, but I'd give it a pass myself. L. Leston, how are you doing today? Have you tested a new Betaflight FPV LRS Modulus 6? Beta FPV Express LRS Modulus 6. I have the Express LRS Modulus 6 made by Happy Model, and I've also used the Beta FPV transmitter, or ELRS transmitter module. Transmitter module was good, very well built. Had a little issue, of course, Beta FPV first run teething. I could not update it over UART, but it worked just fine updating over Wi-Fi. So, and it's an easy fix. Add a resistor to it, and boom, you're good to go. But you shouldn't have to do that if you're buying the product. But it was a early release product they sent me, so I'll give them a pass on that. Although I'm pretty sure they knew of the issues before they started making them. And then the Modulus 6, this is a great little quad. It could be a little bit lighter, like if they had a diamond board with all the guts on it, that'd be great. But I don't like the bi-blades that come on this, and also the PH 2.0. That is a garbage connector. Yeah, the Happy Model Modulus 6. Yeah, it's a good quad. For the price, you're getting a good little quad. I personally still like the 0802 25,000 kV motors on tri-blades. Much shorter flight times, but what I need to get done in 2 minutes, I can do it with that and not have to worry about not having enough guts to do it. Whereas this, I'm going to get a little bit longer flight times, but it doesn't have quite the punch and the control. Sorry, let's see. Sorry if you went over talk about the Flywoo Nano. This little guy, no, I have not talked about it yet. That is kind of on the list of things to talk about, and also kind of to talk about this one as well. But it's on the schedule. Had a group buy for Weebleed. Bought a bunch of BH 2.0 batteries, pigtails, and a fractal board. Awesome. There was a lot of discussion a while back about about all the different BT 2.0 batteries that were available between basically Tattoo and Weebleed. I prefer the Weebleed. They're more expensive, but they're the exact same battery. For one reason, I like the Weebleed better. Well, two. One, you're supporting kind of like a local-ish type company. And the other one is they don't put as many stickers on them, and they fit inside the frames better. Although you can just peel those stickers off of the Tattoos, but it's one of those things, you got to deal with it. But the Weebleed, they have one sticker that wraps around the entire battery rather than one that wraps around the battery and then another sticker on it and then another sticker on it, because they put a bunch of warnings all over it because we're a bunch of dumb children and need to be warned about everything. Peel those off and they're the exact same battery. And the Weebleeds are more expensive as well. So, just a thought. Ricardo, does ducks work much on a 3-inch Cinewhip, or would you remove to save weight? The ducks are actually, if you get a good Cinewhip that are designed around the ducks actually do offer a bit of extra lift and stability to the quad. But it's also, there's no free lunch, because now you have a much larger sail area. So if you're flying in like a windy condition, a naked Cinewhip is going to get pushed around a lot more with the ducks on it, just because there's more surface area to get pushed on. BT 2.0 went around when I started the hobby. I don't know when you started the hobby, but BT 2.0 has been around for maybe a year and a half. It's I believe it's a licensed product from Beta FPV. They're the ones that create it. So there's a bunch of different connectors. There's a PH 2.0, which is what you're going to see on just about everything. The BT 2.0, which is an upgrade from the PH 2.0. Then there's the GMB 27, which is even better. But in my experience, the connector has been incredibly unreliable. I'd say I had to replace my GMB 27 connectors every 15, 20 packs or sooner. And then there's the XT30, which is the best, but it's heavy and it's kind of overkill for the amount of current you're going to pull out of a 1S LiPo. BT 2.0 is kind of like that sweet spot. It's light, it's available, it's fairly inexpensive. Good batteries are coming out for the BT 2.0. So when it comes to 1S type quads, I definitely recommend the BT 2.0 out of all the options out there. There are better and there are worse, but BT 2.0 is a good blend of the two. Also have another giveaway going for this guy. September's sub 250 crate from Get FPV. If you don't get in on, let's see, I'll give this away on the 10th, so next Sunday. If you haven't gotten in on the entry for that, make sure you go to the video and give it a watch. There you go. And you'll figure out how to enter the giveaway for that one. Brandon Baked Beans, Ram Dunk hopefully gets full adoption BT 2.0. It probably will never, because it's going to be, I believe it's still licensed through Beta FPV. So if anybody wants to put that connector on their stuff, they've got to pay Beta FPV a small price. PH 2.0 is a universal connector. Nobody really licenses it, I guess. I guess JST does, but I don't know if it really matters. The same thing with GMB 27. The only thing you're going to find a GMB 27 connector on is a GMB battery, right? Brandon Baked Beans says, I've had BT 2.0 last a year now, never needed a new one. Yeah, BT 2.0 has been solid. No issues, no degradation in performance, no connection. That GMB 27, it's not the actual connector, it's like the wires that they're using to make the connector are just garbage. Like I'm having breaks internally in the wire, or they're breaking at the terminals where they're soldered on. I don't know what it is. It must be just a manufacturing issue. But the GMB 27, I think it's definitely a better connector. But oh well, it is what it is. And they don't make any stick batteries for the GMB 27 from what I understand. All the GMB 27 batteries, they have a little pigtail on them, which is just more weight, more complexity, especially for these 1S squads. Just stick batteries. Have the connectors like hard mounted to them, which I definitely prefer that. Long as you know I come with imperfections. When you look at me, you see the soul through my flesh. You something special. No, you looking bomb the way you dress and don't flex it. Oh, stupid YouTube. Their chat window keeps going in and out. I don't know why it does that all the time. So I pop out the chat and like put it right in front of me, but every time I go away from it, it puts it back into the window, and it's just a pain in the ass. And the Doge Cam, we've got one. I don't know where the other one went. She's probably peeing in the house somewhere. Well, there's Mary. She's getting better. She's becoming a little more I don't know how to put it. Docile, not docile, but less skittish as time goes on. So she's getting better. She's starting to warm up now that she doesn't have any other options. But she's doing what she does best, sitting on ass. But I gotta keep an eye on these guys. You know, like as soon as I trust them, I'm like, you know what? I'll leave the bedroom door open while I'm gone, and that's when they'll go and make a mess. Like I just can't trust them. As soon as you start to trust them, they're fine. They go and find a way to screw it up. Oh, yeah. So, little stuff I've been working on the side here. You know, not everything's FPV all the time. Been working on an old vintage motorcycle. It's an old Suzuki TS 250. Doing a full restoration on it. Got the frame off of it. Sandblasted the frame. Made a big mess of myself. You know, what a messy job that was. But got everything prepped. It back there, you see that Daytona blue. That's the original color of the bike. The frame was black, but that's the color. I've been working on this for quite a while now. Just trying to get all the pieces together that it's missing. They don't make anything for it. And this, you know, it's been a little bit of a, I don't know. It's kind of taken a little bit of my focus away from FPV, but it's not bad. It's giving me something else to do. Like when it's nighttime out and I can't fly and I don't want to edit any videos, I go out and I go work on this stuff. But it's a mess. She's ugly, but it's been a ton of work getting this thing back together. Fun though. It's just something different to do. I do have a bunch of videos recorded on the process of restoring it. I'm still kind of debating whether I'm just going to release those on my main channel or not. I think I will. I don't want to really make another channel, but I know it's already been met with a little bit of criticism because I don't know. You know, it's bad practice to jump around from topic to topic on a YouTube channel. But you know, it's just like if you don't want to watch it, just don't watch it. You know, I don't know. I'm just gonna do what I want to do for the most part. Oh yeah, here, just a kind of a funny picture I took. I do have cats. I have 4 in a stray. They're outside though. That's where they belong. And this cat is one bad mother. Kind of followed us home one day on a run, and he's been a staple of this house ever since. We used to have a lot of foster dogs, and this cat would just walk up to any dog, just walk up to him, put his tail in his face, and then just one quick slap upside the face just to let him know what's up. But yeah, he's an interesting cat. She's always rescuing dogs and other creatures. Yeah, horses, cats, dogs, everything else in between. Yeah, always taking care of animals. And then a little bit more off topic. Woke up one morning, and it's Thursday afternoon. Woke up, and my little dog's like darting at the couch. What the heck is this dog doing? She's just pecking at the couch. Don't know what the heck's going on. I kick her outside, and I look at the couch, and I see this little thing staring at me. Again, too many animals. This little guy somehow got out of her cage in the middle of the night and was taking refuge underneath the couch to get away from the dog. Thank God she didn't get out from under there, but that was an interesting process trying to round her up and throw her back in. I got too many animals, too many mouths to feed around here. So let's go over to the bench and let's take a look at some of these 1S not-a-whoops. Brandon says, gonna try 8K D-Shot 600 RPM on the Hexacopter with BLHES 6-in-1. I'm reviewing the D-Shot implementation, and I think I can make it work. Yeah, I wonder if that's gonna be too much there. The FC on it, that's an F7, right? Or is it a F405? Alright. Over to the bench. So, I got this little guy a little while ago. This is the Nazgul 1S. It's a super fun little quad. Flies really well, but it very much is lacking in flight time. I was lucky to get a minute and a half. I did change the connector out for BT 2.0 because, you know, reasons that we just talked about a lot. Okay, so it's F7. Yeah, I wonder if you'll be able to make it work. I just saw a video from UAV tech, where they're actually raising the question if RPM filtering is even necessary anymore on Betaflight 4.3. Yeah, this guy's rocking the Zing 0802s. These are... Is that 25,000? You guys tell me. What's that look like? Yeah, 25,000 RPM. Or 22,000 kV. 22,000 kV. Little tiny guy, super fun to fly, but very short flight times, and your batteries come down super hot. So it is definitely taking its toll on those motors. And the other one that released about the same time was the Flywoo. This is the 1S baby, and this one's in Express LRS 2.4, which I think this one was CRSF, I believe. Yeah, I think it's CRSF. So already, I'm liking that better. Get a free gift, some knockoff Uma grip. 2 sets of props, 4 sets of props. I think these are all the same. Yeah, 40 millimeter, 1610 by 2. Lens cap for some reason in the bag. I think I ordered the Insta360 Go mount with it just because I didn't feel like it. Oh, look at that. iFlight, you lazy pieces of, you know what? They couldn't even bother to take the support material off. Look at that. That's just crappy. I'll peel that off later. Couldn't even bother to take the support material off. Hope I didn't pay a lot for it. A couple bags of hardware. Snack for later. One of the world's worst screwdrivers. There is a GMB27 to PH 2.0 connector. And a stecker. Let's get all that stuff back in the box. These things are just so small. Comparatively, it's definitely a different design. It's more of a squished X, kind of dead cat look, whereas this is more of a true X. So it might fly a little bit different. Probably not enough, especially on 1S, to really notice. Yeah, I'm really liking the integrated ELRS boards. Come on, I didn't even open it? What the heck? That is unbelievably dull. So first thing that's going to go is that GMB27 connector, just because I'm being very careful to open this. I'm afraid I'm going to break the darn thing. It is so light and so thin. I'm afraid if you were to manhandle this, you'd end up breaking it. Jeez, that thing is tiny. Oh, it doesn't have an integrated ELRS receiver. It's actually an EP2. Just stuck right on there. Oh, that is... Oh, their 3D designs are pretty nice. Look at that. The canopy has a loop in it for the receiver to get mounted in there. That is pretty cool. I like that. Mounted the board upside down, so you've got your USB connector up top instead of having to stick it through the bottom. And I believe they're planning on you running one of the, like a 450 milliamp battery on this. And look how short this is. There is zero flex to it. I guarantee the wires are wicked right up to here. And every time you connect this thing, doing this, those wires are going to break inside right here. You can actually see the stress point happening right here already. Guarantee you that's where it's going to fail. Put that aside. Let's see. It's an interesting looking camera. Interesting looking camera barrel. For the lens. VTX antenna out is the top. What are we rocking? These are the Robo 0802.4. I think it's 25,000 kV motors. Let's see. I honestly don't know. I can't read it. Hang on, I gotta get my old man jeweler's loop. $16,500 kV is what the motors are. There you go. If you guys can make that out with all the YouTube compression. 16,500 on a 1S with 40 millimeter props. I believe that's what's supposed to have. Yeah. So, I don't know how well this is going to carry Insta360 Go. Oh, really? Internal temp too high. I don't understand why these cameras keep doing this. Like, I've never had this camera over temp while streaming, but it sure is now. Alright. Well, we'll see how much longer this works. Still getting the over temp warning. So this may be a lot like the, that... I don't know which way the motors run on this. I don't know if this is a lot like that, that whoop, or the Cinewhoop that Rick Zapata was looking at. I don't know if this is going to have a whole lot of guts left once you start adding an HD camera to it, like the Insta360 Go, the Go 2. If it's actually going to have any authority left over. So this is going to be a lot for a 1S. This may be a fly it for yourself, not for others quad. So there we go. Let's see how the weight works out. 29.3. Ooh, that is a lot lighter. That is a lot lighter. Why so much lighter? Oh, that's why. So this has an upper base plate, or not an upper base plate. That'd be a top plate. So this one is more of a traditional bus style quad. So you've got the added weight of standoffs and this top plate, whereas this guy just uses TPU parts for the top plate. But it's going to have very different flight characteristics, being dead catish, and then having a battery underneath it versus on top. This thing flew really, really, really well. But like I said, very short flight times. You could probably change the ESC PWM frequency to try to get a little more life out of it. But it's not a free lunch. If you drop your PWM frequency, you're going to get less, a little bit less power kind of at the bottom end. Plus, this is also 35 millimeter props, so it is smaller props too. So, I mean, these are, it's apples and oranges. You know, they're both fruit, but they're different. But I got a feeling I'm going to like this one better than this. And also, how many antennas do we need? We got 1, 2, 3 antennas. So, this board had a built-in receiver, but then they added the crossfire to it, and so you're paying for 2 receivers, and you got the weight of 2. So a little bit different there. Let's see how effed up the Betaflight configuration is, because that's half the battle with these quads, is just how bad did they set these things up. And sorry, I've been not ignoring the chat, but certainly not looking at it. Let's go back real quick. Let's see what we got going on here. Cruiser, not a bruiser. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one for sure. Do you think the Binaflies come wrapped is a good sign of QC? You know, it can't hurt. We'll put it that way. But, you know, I've been told that they fly every single one of them. I think that's a complete load of bullshit. It's possible, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to carry anything. Oh, but they sold me a instant 360 Go mount for it. It's going to have to... Yeah, I don't think it's going to carry anything worth a crap. I mean, but I've flown my 65mm whoops with the instant 360 Go attached to it. It is very short flight time, and you have got to have your lines figured out. It's really cool because it fits places that nothing else can. But still. Ditch that standoff and top plate. Yeah. I'm sure that there is a 3D print that I could do. Should get rid of that. NFN Workspace. Question: I own the Novice 2, and the FC is Nano X. If Oscar is correct, I want to add a fly sky for better range. Is this doable? Since I'm not sure if I can do that. Yes, you should be able to add a fly sky. X6B. The Novice 2. What's the fly sky X6B? Yeah, you should be able to add that. That's an awfully big receiver for that little quad. Because I believe in the Novice 2 was a 65mm. That's going to be an awful lot of. It's going to be an awful lot of board. It's going to be very heavy. So, all right, let's snap this over here so I can give you a quick rundown of what you're going to have to look for. So, this is basically the flight controller. It may be a little bit different on yours, but it looks like these pads here might be a UART with a power and a ground. Either that's camera, one or the other. Yeah, that's actually probably your camera setup right there. Why you no zoom? All right, well. You're going to have to do some research and look around, but probably one of these pads here or these here are going to be a UART that's broken out. It's going to be very difficult to solder to. You're going to have to be on your A game to make it happen. But you're going to need to get into one of these, and there's probably one UART left over on this. And if there isn't, you may lose your VTX control. You might have to decide which one it is you want to do. But in general, you can usually add a receiver to these boards. And if they don't have them broken out, if you're really good, which you're probably not asking this question if you are, you can find the UART on the pins on the MCU. It's tough, but you can do it. You can do it. Let's see. I only fly 48 on 1S whoops, even toothpicks. I fly 24. Yeah, I've been flying 24 on a lot of my whoops, and I prefer it if I don't need the flight time. CMYK, how you doing? I still need to email you back. My bad, it's been a busy week. Ricardo for cruising around, some light acro. What do you think is the smallest quad able to carry a Go 2? 2-inch. Maybe 1.6. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this Firefly, whatever the heck it is, can do it. 48 on Hexplorer, smoother and way quieter. On tuning, you get more punch in 2.4. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it came with Brandon. I don't know if it came with it, but I certainly have it. I sent you a couple pictures of mine over on the Discord live stream chat. All right, Rick Cepeda over on... Yeah, if you guys want to do some live back and forth and you don't want to be on the YouTube-y thing, I also have a live stream section over on my Discord. So here's Rick Cepeda's... that's a good print. 28 grams with a lipo. Nice. Very well done. 35mm? BQE little homie. I'd like to get one of those frames. Give that a try. I need you to design and print something, right? Yeah, I need to design my own stuff. talk about that later. What multi-pro module would you recommend for the TBS Mambo? Had a hard time finding anything not FR Sky specific using the Acro B 65mm V3. Hang on. Honestly, I'm kind of waiting for TBS to make a large case for their multi-protocol module. But this is the one that I would go with. It's hard to find them. They're out there, but that's the one I prefer. What is this song? And I hate it. All right, there we go. Yeah, I would look into that one. That's the one I prefer. It is very difficult, but it can be done. But most likely, if you have the ability to do it, you're probably not asking these questions. Bithen FPV, welcome. How you doing today? The day that Newbie Drone integrates ExpressOS into their B-Brain boards is the day FR Sky finally fully dies. Yeah, you're probably right. FR Sky's working on stuff. They're working more on the commercial side right now. They have a lot of competition. They really need to step up their game. They are struggling. They asked me to ask you all fine folks if you would want a external access module. I mean, I don't see why not, you know. Dauntless, how you doing today? Are we talking about OneS not whoops? I'm building a baby tooth tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Mailbag time. FPV Cycle finally got motors in. I got a metric buttload of 13mm motors, both in the 11,400 kV and 5,000 kV range. These motors are sick. So I am planning on building a OneS baby tooth. Very good looking motors. Definitely different manufacturer than their old emerald colored ones. I honestly like the emerald color ones, like the aesthetics of them better than these. But, you know, these are good looking motors. So here's one of the emerald ones. Let's just do this on the bench cam like I should because I've got the freaking cameras for it. Come on, let's go, camera. You can do it. Come on. Technical issues, guys. No, you want to. There we go. All right, so here's one of the older emerald ones. 13mm motors. These are just very, very beautiful motors. Very different. Super smooth. Like, just downright ridiculous smooth. And here's one of the new batch. Different manufacturer. These are significantly more notchy. Not a lot that I think it'll make a difference, but there's definitely more cogginess to them. I mean, I like the construction on this one better. I think it looks like a more refined design, but looks aren't everything. I'm sure that there are some technical advantages between one or the other. Otherwise, Kebab wouldn't do it. This does look like it has a It looks like a bigger bearing. It might not be. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Just doing visual. Definitely like that better than these. But from what I understand, the performance should be very similar, if not a little bit better. And I believe the original ones were made by Brother Hobby. I don't know who these are made by now, but they are different for sure. Let's see. FR Sky has no game. Yeah, well, you gotta remember, FR Sky is what made all of this possible, you know? Everything that's happening now is building off the backs of giants. If FR Sky wasn't in the game, we'd still be dealing with Futaba and Spectrum. FR Sky came in and made, I mean, yes, they're not competing right now, but you have to kind of take that into consideration that they got us to where we are. Take a look at a lot of the radios. All it is FR Sky guts put in somebody else's box with a little bit of tweaks on it. They're the base that everything's standing on. They have no game right now. That is absolutely true. I think that they are not competitive. I do like their radios a lot. They make great boxes. The X Lite, the X9 Lite are excellent radios. The QX7 is probably the most popular radio on the market still. Yeah. Wanting an access module. No. Yeah. Unless they find a way to bring some really good features through access, but I mean they're competing at more of a disadvantage than TBS and Immersion RC are at this point. Which motor's better for long range? Lower KV. Lower KV for better long range, but I mean that's all. It's all got to be in perspective of the overall build. Well, my Chimera has been rock solid. Also serves as a receiver tray. I mean, you need to not be a fan. You need to take a big step back and look at everything as a total, not just what is right now. I don't know. I don't see FR Sky really coming out with anything too groundbreaking anytime soon, or really ever. But I mean, they're not going anywhere. We'll see what happens. FR Sky did push a lot of us away. But why? Why did they push you away? There's a lot of media, internet BS about FR Sky pushing people away. They never pushed anybody away. They just came out with new products. You need to buy the new stuff. You still fly the old stuff. You know, when Ford comes out with a new car, they don't push you away because they came out with a new car. You just keep using your old shit. I think people are too wrapped around the axle about having the newest and the greatest. Or the latest and the greatest. Everybody, the vast majority of people who fly Crossfire, guess what box they stick that receiver into, or that transmitter? It's most likely a FR Sky box. Can't just use my X9 Lite on old firmware with Acro B V3. It's working on V3, not aware of SPI compatibility. Yeah, that is an issue, that's for sure. But actually, you still can. You just have to know what you're doing. You put old firmware on the X9 Lite. You put ACCST version 1 versus 2, but it does create complications. But that's because you're also trying to use non-licensed gear with FR Sky, which I know it's worked forever, and it was great. It was great that it worked. FR Sky tried to do what other companies do and make their own ecosystem, and they failed. But they failed because A, they don't have the features, and B, they weren't like that prior to that. If FR Sky came out right now with good features, good radios, and it was their walled-off eyosystem, I don't think we'd be having any of this conversation. They would just be another competitor. They'd be another TBS. They'd be another Immersion RC. they'd just be another competitor out there. Let's see. They made new radios incompatible. They didn't need to do that. Bring new protocols and new features. Only thing they broke was D8. D8's only legal in the US. So as far as they're concerned, they didn't really do a whole lot. And D8 needed to die anyways. I've got thoughts about that, Keith Jones. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of in the same wheelhouse as JB. I hate FR Sky because it's made my life a hell of a lot more difficult trying to troubleshoot all the problems. But the problems are just like anything else. Like, you know, you get a Crossfire receiver that has the wrong firmware as the transmitter, they don't work. You know, FR Sky's biggest problem is with FR Sky not having any customer service whatsoever, or customer support, or at least customer support that you can understand. They haven't made anything clear for anybody, which sucks. They made users buy an external module for D8. Did they make you buy it, though? They didn't sell you a new radio. They didn't make you buy a new radio. If you had an old radio, you're flying D8 just fine. Most things that have D8 can run D16, which works. Sucks, but it works. Could have just disabled D8 with a locality option. Yeah, but they did that before, and people just flashed. They just flashed FCC for everybody who's in outside of the U.S. that flies D8 on old FR Sky radios. The first thing they had to do was flash a FCC version of the firmware to it because they can't fly D8. It's always been that way. Yeah, they are a huge barrier to get into the hobby. That is, you are 100% correct. And you know, I'm not discounting what FR Sky did. It sucks, and it's a big pain in the ass, for sure. And God, they really need to do it differently. The problem with a company like them is I don't think they reach out to people who know what the hell they're doing before they make changes. Like, if they do talk to somebody who knows what's going on, that change is already coming. Like, nothing you say is going to make a difference. D8, D16. So it has to do with the way the signal is transmitted. Everything outside of the U.S., and there's a few other countries that are still FCC, like I think Australia is. They use a protocol called listen before transmit. So it's so they don't step on other transmissions that are more important. The radio listens, then it talks. Listens, then it talks. FCC, really, really layman's terms, just transmits and then listens for a response. Transmits. So that's kind of the difference. It's not a lot. That's very, very simple way to put it. But outside in other countries, listen before transmit is the standard, whereas FCC it's kind of the other way around. Coming from Spectrum personally and going to, yeah. So obviously if you're not coming from FR Sky to FR Sky, then this is an easy transition. You just don't do FR Sky. There's lots of other options out there. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people who get TBS products, TBS ecosystem, and they still have a ton of issues. The thing is TBS has what they call customer service, which FR Sky does not have. They have zero customer service. I'm the best thing they have as far as customer service. Myself, Joshua Bardwell, Albert Kim, like all the YouTube, like we are their customer service, and it's absolute that's the way it is. And I hate the fact that that's the way it is. But it is the way it is. Yeah, there are so many barriers to this hobby. Like, connecting your radio shouldn't be one of them. You've already got to figure out, well, A, you got to get money. B, you got to get the right gear that works with each other. You got to learn how to solder, how to build, how to fly, how to rebuild the stuff that you broke when you fly. Like, this is something that you shouldn't have to do. Yes, it starts. Honestly, it's the whoop board manufacturers because they're using D8 and it's not a licensed FrSky product. If they paid the licensing for FrSky, they would have updates along with FrSky. So you'd be able to put ACCST 2.0 on that board, and it would work with your radio and work with everything else. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things here that there's a lot of things in play here. It's not just one-sided. ISM band over here, FCC regs is a Wild West. Oh yeah, you are not kidding. And you know, no one's going to bust you from the FCC for transmitting LBT, FCC, whatever it is. But when you're a manufacturer and you're retailing a product that has to go into that country, you have to meet their communication standards. Otherwise, you can't import your product. I mean, look at Get FPV, Hobby King. They got slapped with massive lawsuits from the FCC because they were importing gear that was illegal to use in all cases. Now, imagine if you're a large company like FrSky trying to import your gear into the country and it's out of the box going to be illegal to even turn the stupid thing on. They're not going to let you import it. So you have to make it meet those regulations. What the customer does at the other end, that ain't your problem. That's why they've region locked the new radios. Granted, I got a Lewis script that we can switch that around and change it, but still, I mean, you got to take a big step back and not listen to the hype and all the BS. It doesn't change what's happened, but it might help you understand what happened. They're trying to be a legit company. Like TBS, I know they have their declarations of conformity for all their gear, but are they approved by the FCC or other countries? I don't know. I haven't really looked into it that hard. Let's see. Drones with the Acro BV3 no longer can with my radio, and newbie drones doesn't include the harness needed to add in external receiver, so $5. Let's see. So you got an Acro BV3 no longer work with your radio. Is Acro BV3, is it D16 or is it D8 only? If it's D16, you've got to be able to make it work. It just depends on which firmware you have on the internal module of your radio. Keith Drones, you're 100% correct. It is more intuitive and easy to bind and update. FrSky has made small steps in that direction. They have over-the-air updating, which works, which is nice. Their interface to get to that point still sucks. Yeah, ELRS is going to win because it's open source. I mean, not win. I mean, they're going to be the protocol to beat because it's open source. Picked up Mabo, switching over to TBS for the simplicity. Yep, it is definitely simpler. You know, when someone makes an ecosystem actually does a good job, it's great. When they make an ecosystem and they don't really, you know, it's weird. They make an ecosystem, kind of, but I mean, everybody uses FrSky gear or FrSky hardware, but they don't support their own stuff, which is really annoying. Updates are a breeze and no fail safes. You are 100% market zero. Brand baked beans. The only issue being that the UFL where Vista is right in the way. Okay, something else. All right, that was a hell of a rant. But, you know, instead of dealing with FrSky issues right now, as far as like helping people out, I'm dealing with ELRS issues. It's better. It's not perfect. All right, let's see how craptastically they've set this up. They have LED strip enabled. I don't know if it actually has any LEDs. They did set this to 180, which is great. 8K, 2K, interesting. Power battery, fail safe, don't care. PID tuning, yep, custom TIDs. Stock rates, custom filters. So they've done some work to it. All right, so this is interesting. So they have Express LRS on this, but they're using aux 2 for ARM. That's bad juju. It depends on the version of the firmware, but arming should always be aux 1 on Express LRS. Flash my old firmware, ISRMN. CMYK, is that... I know some of the newbie drone boards come able to do D8 and D16. I forgot which radio you said you had. What radio? X9 Lite. So that'll work, but you'll have to change the protocol in the beta flight to FRSky_X. A year and a half about X9D Lite access plus Archer M Plus and RS. It works wonderfully, no issues. Now, if you're able to buy a radio today, I would doubt I would go with the FRSky route. Yep, I would doubt. I really wouldn't recommend anybody go with the FRSky route if you're getting into the hobby right now. If you have a ton of FRSky quads, the multi-protocol radios are a good option. I think they're built like absolute hot garbage. A lot of people having issues with them. They're just not built well. They could be, but they're trying to meet a price point with a ton of features. Brandon, yeah, having that burnt out LED really, really, really makes it difficult, for sure. And yeah, like a PSA that I've been running into a lot, XM Plus is very, very sensitive to having your radio far too close to it. If your radio is within 5 feet of the XM Plus, it will fail safe. And you'll think you're not bound, but you are. You're just swamping out the signal because it's too close. It's very sensitive to it. Yeah, you can literally walk to the quad with the radio and just watch the signal drop off. But they work good once you get out. I do have a flight controller here that I bought. It is a Mamba flight controller. I was trying to help a guy troubleshoot connecting I think it was a XM, no, it was a RXSR to this board. From everything I'm seeing and all the setup and all the configurations, all the layouts, I do not believe this board supports an inverted S-Bus signal. And we tried everything. So I was actually like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to get this board and I'm going to see what's up. Because every wire diagram they showed didn't make any sense because they're hooking the S-Bus wire up to the same place that you would hook up one of your Crossfire wires, which that don't work. But they're not showing an FRSky receiver, they're showing their own receiver. So I'm wondering if they changed this to not have an inverter on it, so you'd have to use their receiver, but they just don't mention it anywhere. All right, let's see. We got 30 minutes left in the live stream before JB kind of takes over and does his thing. Again, stupid chat window going away. Why do you do this? If you're looking for radio grips, head over to tweetfpv.com or Race Day Quads. Get yourself a set. Also, I have 2 giveaways going. Right now is, actually I'm going to do one today. It's for the 1-hour training session with Aaron Ciotti and the newbie drone Hummingbird DIY kit. And then next week will be for the month of September's FPV Crate Sub 250 Crate. FPV Crate has started a swag bag, kind of like FPV Lux, where it's a t-shirt and probably some props. I got one of those coming. They were kind enough to send that to me at no charge, which that's awesome. I've been doing the FPV Lux Crate, really liking the shirts that come in that. Of course, I'm not wearing one right now because reasons, but yeah. FPV Lux. If you're looking to just get some shirts, some FPV related shirts, and maybe like a set of props or whatever, I think it's like $20. It's not bad. It's not a bad box, but I mean, obviously you're not going to be a long-term subscriber because you'd have an entire closet full of shirts. I do like the way their shirts fit over the FPV crate shirts, like with the 5-inch box. Their extra large shirts were tight. Doing HD footage inside homes. Oh, hope he's got his 107. Wink, wink, right? All right. Stupid chat window. All right, I'm not gonna keep fighting with this chat window. It just keeps wanting to go back in. I don't like it. Probably not. That's not good. That's not good at all. All right, so if you're a member of my Discord and my Patreon, then you've been able to see the entries for this month's giveaway. The 1-hour training session from Aaron Ciotti, and that's kind of like a anything goes. You know, like he'll work on flight training through a sim, help you with tuning, building, you name it. It's nothing very specific, but I have entries from Athix Keith Drones, Speedy Turtle, EDOC, CMYK FPV, William McEwen, Steady Eddie, and Homie. Now let's go ahead and fire these up now. I'm gonna wash them real quick. So here we have Speedy FPV Turtle submission. Rocking that DJI footage. Real good stuff. And again, there was no real criteria for this. Just submit a video. Not really judging your video on its content. More or less just seeing who's willing to go through the extra steps to earn this. And then also the whoop that comes with it. Great flight video. So you got a little truck farm going there. I wish I could put the audio on, but, you know, it's just copyright strike and all that stuff. No, thank you. Let's see. Let's go there. All right. Well, we have Athix. Sorry about that. Too much noise. Boom. Real cool video playing with a crane downtown. I'd love to find a crane to do that with. A couple Maddies through it. Really cool. Good job there. Keith Drones. You can really see the difference between 30 frames per second and 60. You don't really notice it going the other way, but going back, you really kind of see it. That's not a judgment or an indictment of your video. It's just a comment, something I noticed. Yeah, through the power lines, that was pretty slick. Speedy, if you're here in the live stream, was that intentional or was that kind of an accident that just looked really cool? EDOC, you made sure it was copyright free. All right, I'm gonna trust you on that one. Nah, I'm not. I'm not playing audio for anybody else, so I won't do it for you. Sorry, but I did enjoy that one very much. And if you want to watch these in their entirety and without the being muted with this music on the background, head over to Discord and check it out. That is a really neat structure. I think he said it was in Greensboro. The Children's Museum there. Very, very cool. Very cool flight. Great job there. Let's see. Did I do both of these? I did. Okay, I did those two. The Speedies. EDOC. There we go. Really like this. The stadium. That's a heck of a nice gap to jump to fly through. Cool power loop. Good save. Is that a horse arena? Is that another drone that flew by? You're flying with somebody else? I didn't notice that when I watched it before. Very cool. Yeah, I'm too lazy to go anywhere to go fly. Like, if I can't do it at my property, I'm just like, I don't want to get in a car and go somewhere. I really need to stop doing that. I had a lot of fun at the park flying, just because I had to go there to get the iGao stuff done. But I'm also very paranoid to fly a full-size quad there. And here we go. We got CMYK FPV. Through the canopy. Very cool. A little bit of window washing going on. Very good. And is this with a 5-inch or is that a... what size quad is this that you flew through those rings? This site looks familiar, like I've seen it in other videos. And again, a lot of office parks kind of look the same. Three-inch ripsqueak, awesome. I love my ripsqueak. I've got shark bite in it right now. At this point, I have screwed that name up enough that I can't actually say it the right way. I have shark bite in it, and I'm really enjoying it. Still kind of just messing around with it. Here we go. We got William McEwen, one of the other iGao competitors, along with EDOC. Brandon Bakes Beans, at least the people I know that are on my Discord. Nice chunk of property. Very beautiful. Some elevation changes. Brandon, what are you flying? Or, sorry, William McEwen, what are you flying here? If you're in the chat, I don't think I've seen you in there today. Are you here today? Oh, you are here. What quad are you flying here? It looks like a micro, like 3-inch. Just kind of from the T-mount props. Don't I still have a clean slate? Oh yeah, you're in it. I've got a W and H just for non-submissions. There was just 2 weeks where I don't know, too depressed to do it and didn't feel like it, and then the weather. Steady Eddie. Pretty interesting area. There's audio on this one explaining why he deserves it. Working with youth groups and other interested parties. Really good submission. The flight is ho-hum, but you know, it's more or less a talk-over type flight. Kind of an evening flight. I'm always curious what you guys are flying. Oh, that tadpole. Cool. All right, that's Steady Eddie. We have Tommy. I don't know why that opened a different window. This is a cool flight. I like this. Like a really nice edit, not just a flight, but it's the whole package. I always wanted to get into karting, but I never had the money for it. That's just a whole lifestyle right there. There's a lot of things I want to do. And what'd you say? This little girl was like 7 or something like that? 6 years old. Hauling. Hey. And from what I'm understanding from the comments, like that's her father flying or riding along nearby. It's nice when hobbies like this become a family thing. It's nice when FPV does as well. You know, gotta have someone watch out for the cops. Make sure you don't get shanked while you're flying. Very, very cool edit. And I do believe that's it. That's it. Wrong chat window. All right, here we go. Shark fart. Yeah. Yeah, iGal really pushes your comfort zone. If you fly around and you never break anything, you never crash, you are not improving. You really need to push it. Jeez, all you guys have clean slates? Man. Brand making needs to throw EP1 on this Baby Hawk 2 HD here and bind up with the DJI. Brand McBeans asks, can the goggles be bound to multiple air units? Are we talking about the DJI goggles? The DJI goggles, yes, absolutely, can be bound up to... I don't think there's actually a limit on how many air units it can be bound to. Karting is fun. Yeah, I've done a little bit of recreational, just kind of like those indoor facilities. Awfully expensive, but very, very cool. Yeah, DJI. Yeah, you can bind up to just... I don't know if there's actually a limit on how many you can bind to, but yeah. The firmware does need to be the same, though. Just like FrSky, TBS, everything else, it has to be the same. Fortunately, they just have a good ecosystem and a good configurator to make it work, while they're taking all of your personal information. It's the price you got to pay to have that beautiful, beautiful 50 megabit per second video. It starts, I've had bad luck with 2 Baby Hawk 2s. Returned the first one for death roll out of the box, replaced them, broke frame and a light crash. The frame break and the light crash, that kind of sucks. It's not a lot. I mean, some of the really light crashes just destroy frames, and you're like, wow, but I've run this thing into walls and I haven't had issues. I don't understand the dynamics of it, and sometimes a light crash is a lot harder than you think it is. But the FCs, I'm on my second FC on my Baby Hawk 2. Awesome quad, love the frame, love the way it flies, love everything about it. It's actually got a good DJI camera on it. But the AIO, I flew like 3 packs, plugged it in, died. You know, not even, I mean, no crashes, just died. Which brings me to another thing on my community page. We asked last week on the live stream, I asked over on YouTube community, if you have a working quad and had the magic smoke come out, when did it happen? You know, time of failure. 65% on plug-in, 17 in flight, and 18 on the ground. For the vast majority of people, it's been on plug-in. Just an interesting little metric. Desyncs can't be too hard for me to tune, but I hope it flies out of the box. Should be flying out of the box right up until the 5-volt regulator dies on it, unfortunately. So I've been rattling around through the back of my brain who is going to get the flight training pack from Aaron Ciotti and the micro. I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days, or at least since the last submission came in, and I think I think this time, I think the winner is going to be. God, it's a hard one because there are. I wish I could give each one of you this thing, but unfortunately, there can only be one. I'm gonna go with Steady Eddie. Steady Eddie, you got it. You're gonna get the 1 hour training session with Aaron Ciotti and the micro. If for some reason you don't want the micro, let me know and I will toss that out there to, I don't know. I'll throw it out there to somebody over on probably the. We'll do a Discord giveaway then. If you don't want it, if you want it, let me know. I'll send it your way. Dial up. I vote EDOC, of course. Yeah, EDOC. I mean, all you guys, awesome submissions. I greatly appreciate you guys playing along. This was a little bit different than other giveaways. I probably won't do it like this ever again, just because there's just such little participation. You know what I mean? I've done a lot of giveaways in the past where it's been like, submit the picture or video of your worst crash, or send me usually something like where you have to do something other than just fill out a form and hit submit, and the responses go just through the floor. Instead of getting 40, 50 responses, I get 3. So, anywho, either way, head over to tweetfb.com, click that Patreon link, and I do monthly giveaways. Next month's giveaway, I have it lined up. I haven't announced it yet. Just a heads up, I kind of wait for the billing cycle to come through. That way, got to keep this train going somehow. Everything that comes in on YouTube, Patreon, Discord, all the live streams, all the affiliate links, they go right back into it. And if you want to get in on that September FPV crate giveaway, make sure you check out the last review video and sign up. I didn't make it easy for you. I like your concepts. Yeah, thanks, Duran. I appreciate it. CMYK, thanks for doing the giveaways. No problem, my friend. If you want to really dig into this Acro B thing, let me know. I have one, and I have the same radio. I can walk you through the steps and try to get it going for you. If you want, I'm always there. Head over, just hit me up over on Discord. Besides being lazy, I just wasn't interested in this month's giveaway. Well, I mean, there's that. I mean, at least you're honest. It starts. Yeah, after all, you've been mopping up the competition for a while. Yeah. But Aaron Ciotti, I've been supporting him since basically when he started doing live streaming. I've been supplying him with grips to give away, FPV radio grips. You can get those to FPV.com. I've been supporting him for probably going on 2 years now, and he just finally hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, you want to give away a 30-minute session?" And I gave away his free 30-minute session last week. This week, this was out of my pocket. Just trying to do something different. Can't keep doing the same stuff and expecting the same results. Some things are winners, some things are not. I do like this idea, but we'll see if we do it again next week or next month. What are you going to be building with the FPV crates? Oh, CMYK, that is a great question. I have an idea. It's actually not my idea. It's an idea from a good friend of mine from back in the day, Apollyon. We used to go to school together way back in the day. And there's another YouTube channel called Major Hardware. If you've ever watched it, he does this thing called the Fan Showdown. Basically, he gives you the dimensions of a PC fan, and you design your fan. And he runs it through a bunch of tests, prints out a bunch of them, does a video on it. Here's what I want to do. Will it fly? I will submit over on Thingiverse a standard layout for the gear I'm going to use. It's going to be an AIO and a set of motors, camera. That will be the basis of the quad. You design the frame. I'll print it, fly it, let you guys know what I think. I think it'd be a fun little competition. There's no like real solid metrics to measure it, but here's what I was going to do. I was going to build it, rank it for ease of buildability, fly it, see how well it flies on stock Betaflight tune. Put it through a little time trial. Just set up some gates in the backyard. Just do like a standard time trial. Do that. And then the end, I will crash it and see how it survives crash. And granted, this is all going to be printed, 3D printed, most likely out of PLA. But if I like your design, I may cut it out of a chunk of carbon fiber. I have the ability to cut flat sheet stock. I've got a Shapeoko 3. I've made my own frames before, much like this cavity frame. Guess what? This has been out longer than Kebab's frames. Just kind of a little thing there. But that is my plans. I just need to find this thing that I don't have. It's called time. I am very short on that, but I kind of want to, dial one up. Major Hardware. Awesome fan showdown. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I would love to put a link. Major Hardware fan showdown. How do I send a... Well, here's just a video of his. Watched after the live stream. So that's my plans. Again, this isn't my idea. This is a friend of mine's idea, but yeah. Tony Hernandez, I got my firmware package. Used the Agent M, couldn't Agent X to work. Thanks for all the help. Yeah, no problem, man. Again, if you need more help, hit me up over on Discord for sure. He water cooled and air cooler. Yeah, it didn't work very well. Yeah, Mike Bergman, if I could find that out, I will certainly help you out. Okay, so just I'll give you a quick little synopsis, roundup idea of what I'm doing with the motorcycle. It is a 1972 Suzuki TS 250. It was given to me by my father. He had it. It's in pieces. Came without a motor in it. And the gist of it is I'm restoring it. Not showroom quality restore, but certainly a kind of just a let's make it work and then go from there type restoration. But here's kind of a little idea. Here's what it looks like. She is ugly. Ugly as sin. But the more and more I'm getting into it, the more I'm liking it, and the more meat is on the bones. And this is a nostalgia thing for me because this is what I grew up riding, is garbage like this. And I'm very excited to get it back up in decent condition. It's looking way better right now. But as you can see, she's pretty rough. Lots of pieces are missing, lots of parts are broken, lots of rust and corrosion, but we're getting her cleaned up. Getting it cleaned up, gonna get it back on the road, and yeah. So that's where I'm going with it. They do classic racing for this for sure, and I want to put this on. I want to release those videos on my YouTube channel. I know it's not quite in line with my typical content, and a lot of people will probably be kind of shitty about it. But I mean, I don't want to make another channel just for that. I need one of those carbon frames you just held up, flying pet tree frame. Yeah, so my frame design is actually on Thingiverse, and Rick Cepeda has kind of like a spec class going where he flies with my 3D printed version. Rob Logan, am I invisible to you? You know what? I think you are. Jeez. For some reason, I'm not paying attention to the chat very well. I'm sorry, man. Who won the chat, the 30-minute thing last week? I think you know who won that. Rob Logan. Have you started any of your training with Aaron Ciotti? I'm curious how it's going. I was actually considering doing an EV conversion on this. If the motor was completely shot, top end and bottom end, I was going to do an EV conversion. The motor is got a lot good. The bottom end's great. The top end, I just need to have the cylinder bored and honed. And the new piston, I had to go 20 thousandths over just because there was some damage to the cylinder, but there's enough good on there that I'm going to keep it. A gas burner. It's also a 2-stroke, which you don't see any 2-strokes on the road. It's got an oil injection, so no premix in the tank. Yeah. Frame design seems a nice idea. Please don't let Chris Rosser participate. I don't know what his frame would look like if he designed one for 3D print. Resistor for history. Yeah, that's my idea. Lots of pieces missing, lots of pieces broken, lots of corrosion. Yeah. Post them up and I'll watch them. If I post them up and you don't want to watch them, don't watch them. Just don't be a complete dick about it. That's all I ask. And I'm not going to use this in place of any FPV related content. This will be in addition to. So maybe I'll put them out on like Mondays or something like that. Rob Logan, no, have not yet. Putting together some questions for him. Still figuring out scheduling. Want to do it while Sky is at school. Won't be. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Randelka, no premix. No premix in the tank, but it has oil injection, so it premixes on demand. Frame design competition would be awesome. I'm a great modeler, but might be a good way to get better. Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to use Fusion 360. You can use Tinkercad. I mean, there's some Tinkercad super basic, but it works really well. Also, still not sure what I want to focus on for the majority of the sessions. You know what? Maybe ask. Tell you what, this is what I would do if I were you, Rob Logan. Do the best flight that you can do, kind of pushing the envelope of your ability. Don't go over the edge where you start crashing, but go up to the edge of what it is you can do. Send that to him and say, hey, this is where I'm at. This is the gear I'm flying. This is my quad setup. Here are the parts. Here's my tune. What do you think we should do? After all, he's the coach. You're not. He's the coach. He should be the one talking to you about what it is that you should be doing. Just a thought. CM1K, hit you up on Discord? All right, yeah, no problem, man. Might be a great project for Chris Rossner to design a best 3D frame. That is, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Now, don't tell everybody this, because somebody's going to beat me to it. I saw a flowchart that JB posted on YouTube that is the FR Sky flowchart. I have that on my wall that I drew a year ago. I was going to do a video on it. I just didn't want to go through the absolute insane headache. Hang on. This has been on my wall for over a year, trying to figure out how to talk to you guys about this without making my life a complete miserable living hell trying to explain it. And I just haven't found a good way to do it. I didn't want to deal with it, to be honest with you. Yeah, Vespa does that, separate oil tank. So that's the one part I can't find for this bike is the oil tank cover. So, and I know we're going along. We're going to JB time here, but you know what? If you guys are still here, I greatly appreciate it. So one of the things that, come on, give me a window here. Here is something that I was working on to try and here we go. So I need to design the tank cover. So this is the oil tank, and this is the cover that goes over it. I'm using photogrammetry. Every one of these little white dots you see out here on the periphery, that's someplace I took a picture with my camera. Don't need a special camera, just something you can lock the shutter speed on. And I have made a 3D model of the area that cover has to go on. I'm in the process right now. You can see behind me. Printer's chugging away. Trying to kind of frame up the outside of the oil tank. Here we've got some pieces. Unfortunately, the tank's going to be too large for my Prusa Mark III, so we'll have to deal with that when we get down the road. But this is exactly what the side of the bike looks like. color, shape, shade, everything. So by doing this, I'm hopefully going to be able to use this model to import it into Fusion 360 to design the cover around it. I don't know how to play with something like this in 3D space with Fusion. My Fusion 360 skills are pretty limited. I can get by, but it takes me a long time to do anything. But it's something I'm working on because these parts just don't exist. Yeah, I split the part in a slicer. That's what I've been doing. I'm at the point now where I can't split it and put two... I can't put two pieces on the build plate anymore. But my plan is to either get a different printer or once I get it all set up, send it over to Shapeways and have it SLS nylon printed. Dimensions online, I have some real rough dimensions. It's real rough dimensions. 9 3/4 inches between the two mounting pegs, 8.5 down to this tab here. But the cover typically comes along the side of the frame here, under, and then up this side. I don't have that dimension. But like I said, I'm just starting into this. That app was Created Reality, I believe. Reality Captured. That's what it was. Reality Captured. It's a pay to use. It cost me $2 to export that model. You can do everything you want for free inside of it, but once you export the model, that's when they charge it. But it's like $2 for that. So that's very reasonable. Loving my Mark III. Just works. Absolutely. It does just work. Unfortunately, it's a little too small. Oh, no. No, you can't get anything from Suzuki. They stopped producing parts for this bike long ago. Everything is secondhand or used. There's not even like an aftermarket restoration group or anything like that for it. But anywho. All right, guys. I've been doing this for, a little over 2 hours. Joshua Bardwell is streaming today, I believe. I'd be surprised if he isn't. Yep, he is streaming right now. If you want to continue the FPV train, go on over there. Check out his live stream. If you don't know about it, I'm shocked. That'd be weird. And then after him, usually streams Aaron Ciotti. He didn't stream last week. Hopefully streams this week. I know he's been getting a lot more commercial work, so he's kind of been dialing back the live streams. Aaron Ciotti, a supporter of the channel and a friend of the channel. Great guy all around. Highly recommend you go support him. Check him out if you haven't. And if you want to support me, want to be one of the cool kids up here, hit that link, become a Patreon supporter, and keep an eye out for the next big giveaway. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking us out. I really appreciate it. It makes my Sunday. And as always, stay positive.